Hello YouTube. I'd like to do a quick little review video of the MS 194T top handled Stihl chainsaw. I remember about a year and a half ago, about a year ago, I was in the market for a top handled chainsaw for tree climbing, and I wanted to know what was the best. Of course, I'm a Stihl guy, and the reason I'm a Stihl guy is because my dad is a Stihl guy, because I've never had any Husqvarnas to compare them to. So for now, I'm just sticking with the Stihl. Um, but basically, what's my experience with it? What do I do with it? My number one thing that I do with it is tree climbing and removal. Mostly medium-sized trees, medium to small-sized trees. I do it only on the weekends. I'm only a weekend warrior when it comes to tree climbing. And you're probably clicking on this video to see, is this something that might work for you, and do you need to spend the extra $400 to buy the 201? I guess if you're watching this video, you probably already got your eye on the 194T. Now, one thing I cannot tell you is I have zero experience with the 201. But I will say what this can do, and what this thing can do is about everything you need it to. Top handle chainsaw. I went ahead and compared it to the 201, which this is 7.3 pounds, 32 cc's. The 201 is 8.2, so a little under a pound heavier and 3 extra cc's. Is this enough to get the job done? I would say absolutely. I'm a huge believer in keeping your saw and chain sharp. As long as you keep your saw and chain sharp, you should be able to, you can cut through, just about, I would say, anything the length of the 14-inch bar. I've been able to just saw right through stuff, no problem. An added benefit, in my opinion, is the 1 pound lighter. May not be a big deal until you start sticking your hands way out and you're holding it out, and then that's when that 1 pound can make a huge difference. If you don't need that 1 extra pound, this is certainly something that will work for you. If you aren't tree climbing and you're just cutting firewood, and say you want a small saw to pair with your big saw, maybe for cutting up the ends of the trees, definitely recommend this for doing that too. It will just absolutely cut right through medium to small sized stuff. I have felled trees over with it, believe it or not. Trees over 12 inches, maybe even more in diameter. I have almost nothing but good to say about this saw. I really enjoy it. If you want a little extra power, some people recommend taking out the spark arrestor. I have taken out the spark arrestor and ran it without the spark arrestor for a while, kind of go back and forth. Just make sure that it's not too dry in your area and that it's legal to do that in your area. The spark arrestor is the screen and the exhaust that keeps spark from getting through. When you take it out, everything flows much easier. When you take it out, I didn't have to adjust my carburetor, and it was a huge difference in power and torque. I don't know what the numbers are in difference, but the taking out the spark arrestor gave me a lot of extra power, which I didn't necessarily need. So I felt like this has got plenty of power for what I use it for. If there's any situation where you think you might need to cut through something really fast, say you're felling something that's got a little bit of tension on it and you're trying to cut through it fast, and you're making your back cut and you're trying to make your back cut fast, can this do it? I would say 90% of the time, in most situations, absolutely. Unless you've got a really thick hardwood or your saw's not that sharp, I'd say you're going to be just fine. You're going to be able to make that back cut real quick and have everything fall in the right direction safely. The one problem I did have with this was it screeching really bad. When I turned it on, it would screech, and I could not figure out what it was. I took it back to, and this was like when I first bought it. I think I got a buddy that's got one of these, and he had this. I heard him start it, and it screeched too. And I said, "Hey, take it back and tell them that it's this brake right here." I don't know. I don't understand exactly what was going on in there and what it did, but this brake and everything inside was the issue. When I took it back to the dealer that I bought it from, they fixed it for me, and since then I haven't had that problem at all. I have an old 017 that's roughly about this size. I'm not exactly sure how many cc's that 017 has, but that's an old chainsaw, not top handled, and that's really the only other thing that I have to compare it to. And if I was going to cut up a tree for firewood and I needed a saw to cut up the ends of the limbs or the smaller parts of it, that definitely has much more torque than that, and I believe would be much easier to handle. I would go with that. So that's my experience with it. I keep everything sharp and clean and that sort of thing. So I haven't had any problems with anything failing on it. But if you're looking for something to climb, I don't know if you really need to go with the 201. That would be, in my opinion, an extra $400. I don't know. I don't see. I mean, that works. That certainly works. So, and I've climbed for a year with it at least. So that's my opinion. If you're looking at getting one, really can't go wrong. So that's it. Later.